Give it to me like.
Hi, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Kareen. I was sentenced to 14 months in prison. I went to Bronzefield maximum security prison for women in England, and luckily Sean and Jen Atwood really kindly let me share my story on their channel, and I really appreciate people for coming and subscribing, and if you're interested in true crime, then stick around because I've got some really interesting things coming up. Now obviously I'm an amateur, I have no idea what I'm doing on YouTube. This is my first video, so it's not going to be great, but I have got in touch with somebody who's going to edit for me, and I have a really interesting interview I'm doing on my channel. I'm going to interview somebody who, when she was a child, her and her father found the remains of a woman, which was extremely sad. It's a well-known story, there's been documentaries made about it, so hopefully she's going to come and tell her story for the first time as well. She hasn't told her story anywhere else, so that'll be really interesting. Ooh, kicking the camera. Oh my god, you never guess what I've done. I filmed a whole 20-minute video and my mic wasn't turned on, so I had no audio at all. What an idiot. I was like, oh. But yeah, so I also wanted to talk about Lucy Letby, the evil serial killer who long ago got sentenced. She got 14 life sentences, which is a whole life order. Now, I'm sure everyone knows who Lucy Letby is, but I'm just going to recap. I've got some notes because I'm not really good at remembering. So Lucy Letby was born on the 4th of January 1990. She's now 33. She's a serial killer. She killed 7 babies and tried to kill 6 more. Absolutely that's the lowest of the low. Lowest of low. Hit vulnerable people, hurting vulnerable people. She worked at the Chester Countess Hospital. The crimes were in between 2015 to 2016. She was working in the intensive care baby unit. Can you imagine being a parent and having babies in the place where you trust the nurses that are caring for your child? Like, they're the ones that are meant to be there saving them, and some of these babies were on their way to being released, and then all of a sudden they declined, and it was because she was killing them. That is so sick. Right, sorry, I went on a rant there. Really winds me up. She's in HMP Low Newton. Now, I wasn't in that prison, so I can't say what's going to happen with her in there. But what I can say is, if she'd been put into Bronzefield, now they will put her in solitary confinement. She's not going to be around anyone else, not for a long time, and that's good, because do you know how miserable that is? When I was up for 23 hours a day, it did my head in. I couldn't stand it. That's why I used to like having cellmates. I'd obviously pick who I had in my cell. I wouldn't have fucking anybody in there, because if you've got to live with someone, you've got to get on with them. But I much preferred having someone in there with me. She's going to be so lonely. The guards are not going to like her. They're not necessarily going to be nasty, but they're definitely not going to be really friendly with her. A lot of them have probably got children themselves. But if, just say, hypothetically, they put her onto the 2s, which there's different blocks, the 1s, 2s, 3s, and the 4s, the privileged wing, which I'll talk about in a minute. So they put her on the 2s, where I was. If they put her on the wing, not my wing, but the wing I was on, she wouldn't have lasted 2 seconds. 100% I know for a fact somebody would have attacked her, and if I was in there, I probably might have done that. I probably shouldn't say that, but the one thing I can't stand is children abusers. I hate it. I hate them. I think it's disgusting. Ugh. Anyway, so she wouldn't last 2 minutes on the wing that I was on, but what they're probably going to do is keep her in isolation And when it's all died down, they're going to probably try and put her onto a privileged wing. On a privileged wing, you get privileges. So they put all the child abusers and stuff on the privileged wing. Like, I don't understand why they should have privileges. They should leave them in with the general population, but they don't. So when she gets put on there, they have things like, they have a shower in their cell, they have like a TV room where they can watch movies. Now, there are some women on the floors on the privileged wing that haven't done anything hideous like that, but they go on there because they want the extra benefits. Like, they'd like to have the shower, and it's nice to have the TV room. Like, they want to live a bit more comfortably, especially if they've got long sentences, and I can understand that. Me personally, I wouldn't go on there because I know that I would probably get in trouble. But that's just me. But a lot of the women that do go on there, they don't want to lose the privileges, so they're not going to attack these people. But doesn't mean they're going to hang around with them. Like, they're probably they're probably disgusted by them, but they're not going to go and attack them, because then they'll lose their privileges. They'll probably get put on basic. They'll probably even put down the seg. So they just, do their time and just try and keep away from them. But overall, I think she's going to have a miserable life, and I think there's more chance of her doing something to herself, because they're going to be watching all the time what's going on. And I know in Bronzefield, from personal experience, if there's a fight, they're there. They are quick. I'd have to say that about Bronzefield. The guards are there, they're quick, and they're like splitting it up. Doesn't mean to say someone can't chuck sugar water in her face. I mean, it can happen in a blink of a second. What was I going to say? So, when I was in Bronzefield, I was on B wing. I was on different wings, but one of the times I was on B wing. Our wing, some reason they put all the Larry people and the big personalities all on that wing, which caused arguments constantly. And they did put a girl in our wing, and one of the girls who was her cellmate had looked at her paperwork, and she was a child attracted to minors, and that didn't go down well at all. They had to lock her in her cell because people were going to attack her. People were screaming things at her, people were threatening her, and they had to lock us all in our cells just so they could escort her out of the wing. And I don't know where they put her after that, but I'm probably on the floors. So if they put someone like Lucy in there, she wouldn't last long. The thing is, like, say for example, Lucy was this big, tough, hard nut that people were scared of, she'd probably get left alone, even if she'd done them crimes, because people would be intimidated. Or if she was really, really good looking and a lot of the girls fancied her, she'd probably also be left alone, because I've seen it. I've seen a woman in there that left her baby to starve to death while she went out clubbing for 6 weeks. She was running around laughing, having a laugh with people, like nothing had happened. And she only got, do you know what the thing that really annoys me about it? She only got 8 years. I know people in there that got longer for drug dealing than that. And she doesn't care. She's running out. She has no remorse. There was no remorse. And do you know what? I'm just going to say it, right? Me and a group of girls, we were going to get her. We were going to do something. And there's a whole incident that ended up happening. Her trans boyfriend found out, and he got me in the laundry room, and he's started punching his hand. He's like, "I'm going to let you off this time." And I thought, right. And someone else was witness to it, and I thought, I can't let that go. If I let that go, everyone's going to think I'm weak. So I had these really big, stupid, ridiculously long nails. So I went up to one of the girls. I said, "Have you got some nail clippers I can borrow, please?" And they're like, "Yeah." So I was standing there, and they could see I was angry, and because there's a little at the top of the stairs, everyone would sit on these chairs and have coffee and talk. So I'm standing, but there's a bin right there, so I'm clipping all my nails off in the bin. They're like, "You're right." I was like, "No, I'm really, really, really angry. I'm going to try not to swear." And they were like, "What?" And I was like, wait, you'll see. So this person started walking up the stairs, a trans guy. And I'm like, and do you know what though? If I'd had a fight, I would have got hurt. He was big guy. There was nothing. I was gonna get hurt, but I just didn't care. I don't know what was wrong with me at that. My mentality at that point was I didn't care about getting hurt. So I was like, come on. I was like, get in my cell then. I was like, come on, right now, let's go. I was like, you're gonna fucking. Oh, I'm swearing again. I'm like, you're gonna threaten me. Like, come in the cell then, yeah. And the reason he didn't, it wasn't because he was scared of me or nothing. God, I'm like 5 foot nothing. But he had his trial coming up, and I didn't know this. And what he got convicted of was absolutely disgusting, including the R word on a young person and a disabled person. So yeah, that was crazy. The guards come running, the bells, they pressed the buzzer, the guards come running, was pulling us apart, people were all getting involved, trying to drag me away. Yeah, it was a bit crazy. But so I know for a fact that the women that were on my wing in Bronzefield would definitely not allow Lucy Letby just to walk freely around the wing. It just wouldn't happen. It wouldn't happen. And another thing is, if there's somebody that wants to make a name for himself, she's so high profile, like, they'd love that. Like, let's get Lucy Letby and we'll get our name in the paper. Like, especially women that are in there for years and everyone's forgotten about their crimes, you know what I mean? It's a bit of clout, a bit of attention. So that is a possibility as well. But anyway, so I am going to hopefully be doing some good videos soon. I also want to start, so I've got the interview coming up, hopefully, fingers crossed. And then I want to start doing like a mini documentary, like it's a little series. So like, it's going to be called Banged Up in Bronzefield. I want to do all the notorious killers or the high profile cases who have been in Bronzefield. So we've got like Rose West, really well known, very old case. You've got Shannon Matthews, who faked the abduction of a daughter. You got Baby P, if you remember that story, it was absolutely horrendous. I think she was in there. Tracy Connolly, I think her name was. There's so many. Joanna Dennehy, everyone must know who that is. If you're into true crime, you must know who Joanna Dennehy is. She's a serial killer. She murdered, I think it was 3 men and tried to kill some more. So I'm going to go into that story. She was in Bronzefield. She got shipped out though. She was crazy. She was like threatening to cut guards' fingers. Like, she made a whole plan to escape and cut a guard's finger off to use it because in prison we've got fingerprint things to get through different places. So she planned, allegedly, to cut a guard's finger off and use their fingerprint to get out of the front gate. It wouldn't have worked. Bronzefield's maximum security. You're not getting out. You're not getting out of there. Not unless you're in a body bag. You're not getting out. So she got shipped somewhere else. And then the one I'm really excited to talk about is Gemma Mitchell. Now, I don't know if anyone's heard of her. She was on the news. She was the first person in England to have their court appearance televised, right? And and I'm not laughing at what she's done because it's absolutely disgusting, right? I'm just like, I can't believe that she was in the cell next door to me, and before it had all come out in the news, what she'd done, she was a loner and everyone was like, everyone used to bully her, and I felt a bit sorry for her. So she used to come in the morning and sit in my cell and have coffee with me, and I didn't realise, like, people said I knew she was in there on a murder charge, but when the girls were saying she cut someone's head off, I thought they was making stuff up because I didn't like her. I didn't realise till I come out, and then like a few months after I come out, it was all in the news, and I thought, oh my god, I've been sitting there and I gave her my mushy peas. I don't like mushy peas, right? And she was always hungry, right? So she was like, please can I have your mushy peas? And I felt bad for her, so I was like, I didn't want them anyway, so I'd like say, yeah, I wanted them, put them in a bowl and give them in a little plastic blue bowl, give them to her. And then I got out and found out that she decapitated this poor woman. Like, how awful. And it was all for money, but I'm going to do a deep dive into that on one of my episodes, so I don't want to go into it too much. But I'll tell you about her personality and the way she acted and how she held herself in there, but people didn't like her, let me just put it that way. So she's not going to have a good 34-year sentence. And the thing is, when these women go in there in their 30s, 20s or whatever, when they get these long sentences, they're never going to have a chance to have a family. By the time they get out, they're going to be in their 60s, 70s, that's it, their life's gone. And I'm not saying they don't deserve it, because there's a lot of them that do deserve it. But when I got out of prison and I was walking through the park and it was the summer and like I was in nature and that, and I thought, oh my God, I'm so lucky that I've got a chance to put things right. And you know, that's what changed me. Not because I was scared of being in prison, but because I thought, what am I doing? Like, there was women in there and they had nothing. Like, when I went into prison and I felt like I didn't want to be here, in my head, my glass was half empty. I felt so sorry for myself, and I know I've had bad things happen, but I was like, oh, I've got nothing, I've got no one, like, and it was hard, and I did have a really, really hard time, and horrible things did happen. But then when I was in prison, I saw women, and some of them don't even have their own teeth. They have nothing to go out to. They have no home. They have no family at all. They're never seeing their kids again. They've been adopted and shit. Like, they don't even know where they are. They're so on drugs. All they're talking about is getting out and doing their next pipe. Like, and I looked at them and I thought, oh my God. I thought, I've got stuff. I have got things I can save. What am I doing? And it woke me up. And it was the mixture of that and the fact that they changed my mental health medication, which I was so desperate for. I was begging on the outside for this help. I was begging them to please, please, please help me. I need some help. And they wouldn't. They were just like, oh, if you're not hearing voices, we can't help you. And they'd send me away from the hospital. But anyway, I digress. I got the right medication. I came out, and it's so weird when you come out, and I was only in there for half my sentence. I got 14 months, so I did half, and I thought, yeah, and then when I got out as well, a lot of people that I was in there with started coming out in the news, and they got like 30 years, 26 years, another 30 years, and I'm like, oh my God, they're stuck in there for that long. And it really hit home, and it kind of snapped me out of this feeling sorry for myself situation, and the fact that, do you know what though, if I hadn't had my mental health medication changed, I just don't think I could have got any better. I don't, because I accidentally forgot to take it a week ago. I missed one night's worth, and because I fell asleep early, and I normally take it before I go to bed, and by the next evening I was so mentally unwell. I was just crying. I was jumping at shadows were making me jump, and I was starting to think weird things. Like, I was getting really bad paranoia. I was thinking, like, my daughter got a McDonald's, she's 15 now, so she got a McDonald's delivery, and right, well, obviously, thinking of it rationally, the reason it wasn't full to the top is because it's going to spill in the car. But me, she's gone to drink, and I'm going, don't drink it. And she's like, what? I'm like, he's been out there drinking it. Don't drink it. He's been out there drinking. You're drinking that car. I knew it. And she's like, what are you talking about? And then I burst out crying. I'm like, I don't know what's wrong with me. Yeah, and that was just from one day of not having my medication. So I seem normal, but I am heavily medicated, and thank God I am, because I don't think I could have had the life I've got now. Since I've been out, I've turned my life around. I've got 2 of my kids back, and I'm working to get one of my others back. I train martial arts. I try and do every weekday, but obviously I've got fibromyalgia and stuff, so sometimes I'm in a lot of pain. But I've lost over a stone just doing that, and I love it, and I'm hoping I can compete next year. Fingers crossed. I also have a job coming up to work with people who have substance misuse issues, and to help people who've been through domestic violence. And that's another topic. I do want to cover some stuff on my channel about domestic violence, because there's so much of it out there. Men doing it to women, and women doing it to men as well. It's just not talked about as much. And I want to highlight some of the red flags, because I wish I'd known this stuff before, because it was only once I'd educated myself on all the warning signs and all their manipulation tactics and everything like that I really woke up to the situation, because I used to be very bad at being able to judge what someone was up to, but now I've kind of literally turned, I can see what someone's up to from a mile away now. But it's took me to 25 to work all this out, which is unfortunate. But if I can like help anybody see the warning signs, or even if someone's in a relationship and they don't realise what the person's doing to them is wrong, because that can happen. I'm hoping at least one person can get eyes be opened and they can get away from the situation. That would be amazing if I could do that. But yeah, so hopefully I will be posting on Fridays. Don't know if I'm going to be able to do another one by this Friday, because I've got to do research to be able to tell these stories. I can't just ramble on like I am now. But so hopefully from not this Friday, the next Friday, I will be posting every Friday. If you're interested, then come and watch. But my videos will get better than this, because I've got somebody who's going to be editing them, and I've got people coming that I'm going to interview, so it's going to be fun. So yeah, and once again, thank you so much for everyone who's been nice. Obviously I've got some horrible comments. It's going to happen when you put yourself online. There's nothing anyone can do or say to me that hasn't been done before, but I do appreciate everyone that has been kind and understanding, and I am not a horrible person. I just made some horrible decisions. Excuse me. I just made some horrible decisions, and yeah, when I was telling the story I was getting really into it, but I do have a lot of regrets, and I do have to live with them. And some of the things I did, I am sorry for. I'm not sorry for certain things, because certain people deserved it. I think we know who I'm talking about. But what I did towards the police and that, I know I get into it when I'm telling the story, but deep down I know it was wrong and I shouldn't have done it. At the time I was not well. I was not thinking right. I was harming myself more than anyone else, to be honest. I really was. It was dangerous, the stuff I was doing to myself. But it's a new chapter. I haven't felt that way in a long time, even if I did freak out about a McDonald's. That was funny. But yeah, I'm doing much better, and I hope that you tune in and watch some more interviews. I'll see you later.